Donald Trump's latest tirade against renewable energy, specifically wind turbines and solar fields, highlights not just his disdain for clean energy, but also his lack of understanding about energy markets, environmental impacts, and even basic economics. His rant, filled with inaccuracies, was aimed at discrediting wind energy, which currently accounts for about 10% of America's electricity. Despite the hyperbole, it's critical to unpack and debunk his claims one by one. Trump's anti-wind energy rhetoric. Trump's reasoning for opposing wind turbines boils down to two primary arguments: the death of birds and their alleged reliance on China. He claimed wind turbines are horrible, stating they kill birds, reduce property values, and cost a fortune, while also suggesting that the U.S. should ban them outright. Yet, none of these arguments hold up under scrutiny. The bird argument. Let's start with the claim that wind turbines are a significant threat to birds. Studies show wind turbines kill between 140,000 to 500,000 birds annually in the U.S., depending on the study. While this might sound concerning in isolation, let's put it into perspective. Bird collisions with buildings result in nearly 600 million deaths per year, and domestic cats are responsible for the deaths of 2.4 billion birds annually. Yes, you read that right. Billion with a B. Cats kill 17,000 times more birds than wind turbines every single year. Even coal plants, which Trump continues to champion, cause far more harm to bird populations. The destruction of habitats, pollution, and climate impacts from coal plants kill an estimated 24 million birds annually. If Trump were truly concerned about the well-being of birds, coal plants would be at the top of his list for elimination. Moreover, wind energy reduces greenhouse gas emissions, which helps mitigate climate change and protect ecosystems. In the long run, this helps birds and other wildlife far more than maintaining outdated fossil fuel infrastructure. The China argument. Trump's second major argument focuses on China's dominance in manufacturing wind turbines. It's true that China is the world's largest producer of wind turbines, controlling over 60% of the global wind energy supply chain. In 2022, China accounted for over 50% of new wind power installations globally, while the U.S. lagged far behind at less than 10%. However, Trump's solution, banning wind turbines, completely misses the point. Rather than retreating from the global energy race, the U.S. should aim to compete. This is exactly what the Biden administration is doing through initiatives like the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest climate investment in U.S. history. This legislation invests in American manufacturing to reduce reliance on China while creating American jobs in renewable energy sectors. Even Republican-led states like Texas, Oklahoma, and Iowa are heavily investing in wind energy. In 2023, wind power accounted for 28.6% of Texas's electricity generation capacity, second only to natural gas. If Trump had his way and banned wind turbines, Texas alone would lose nearly 30% of its energy capacity, driving up energy prices for millions of Texans. Trump claims to care about lowering energy costs, but his proposals would have the exact opposite effect. Renewable energy and American jobs. Renewable energy isn't just about environmental benefits, it's also a significant driver of economic growth. Over 131,000 Americans are employed in the wind energy sector, and that number is growing. Investments in renewable energy create high-paying, stable jobs in manufacturing, construction, and operations. If Trump were serious about creating jobs and reducing America's reliance on China, he would support policies that bolster the domestic renewable energy industry. Instead, his rhetoric serves to protect the fossil fuel industry, which has been one of his largest political backers. By doubling down on coal, oil, and natural gas, Trump is prioritizing the profits of a few wealthy oligarchs over the long-term economic and environmental health of the country. Fossil fuels and the environment. Trump's support for fossil fuels ignores their devastating impact on the environment. Coal plants are a leading contributor to air pollution, which causes health problems ranging from asthma to heart disease. They are also one of the largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions, which drive climate change. By contrast, renewable energy sources like wind and solar are clean, sustainable, and increasingly cost-effective. Studies show that wind energy is now one of the cheapest sources of electricity, with costs continuing to decline as technology improves. Trump's claim that wind energy is the most expensive energy of any kind is flat-out false. In fact, building new wind or solar farms is often cheaper than continuing to operate existing coal plants. Trump's misleading energy promises. During his campaign, Trump promised to cut energy prices by 50% within his first year in office. He claimed he would achieve this by banning renewable energy mandates, expanding fossil fuel production, and repealing electric vehicle requirements. However, these promises are both unrealistic and contradictory. For example, banning wind energy, one of the cheapest energy sources, would almost certainly increase energy prices. Diversified energy sources help stabilize costs, especially during periods of high demand or supply disruptions. By removing wind energy from the equation, Trump would make the U.S. more dependent on volatile fossil fuel markets, where prices are subject to geopolitical events and supply chain disruptions. Serving fossil fuel interests. It's worth noting that Trump's attacks on renewable energy align closely with the interests of fossil fuel executives who have heavily funded his campaigns. These industries stand to lose the most from the transition to clean energy, as their profits depend on maintaining the status quo. By spreading misinformation about wind and solar energy, Trump is protecting the financial interests of a small group of wealthy donors at the expense of working-class Americans. The bigger picture. Trump's opposition to renewable energy is emblematic of a broader issue, his unwillingness to address the challenges of the 21st century. Climate change, energy independence, and economic competitiveness are all interconnected. Investing in renewable energy is not just about reducing emissions. It's about securing America's future. Clean energy technologies are the key to creating jobs, reducing energy costs, and maintaining global leadership in an increasingly competitive world. Rather than clinging to outdated fossil fuel technologies, the U.S. should embrace the opportunities presented by the renewable energy revolution. By doing so, we can reduce our reliance on foreign energy sources, protect the environment, and ensure a brighter future for generations to come.